Hello. Hello, you. Hello, you poor here. For me. For the stream. For the glory of, the thing. Fortunately, hello. Fortunately, since I've had a lot of things to do, I've not over prepared for today's stream, but it's okay. I can just ramble on like I always do, and I believe it'll be fine. It's like my streams are usually just rambling upon rambling, and it always works out. Right? Isn't that right? Isn't that what it's all about? Super cool. Woo! What the hell? Damn. Vladimir Putin. Hmm. Damn, that's tough. And we're gonna read this article in Polish, and we're gonna translate it. Isn't that fun? Isn't that cool? Isn't that hip? I, I, I think it is. Okay, so we're gonna do this. I am so professional. I am such a professional streamer or whatever. Use. Oh wow. Oh wee. Oh wow. Holy moly. Interpol rejects request to issue red notice for fugitive judge. Damn. Rejected. Oh, we're gonna read about this. It's been 35 years. I didn't go to the event, but we're gonna read about it. We're gonna read about the event. Yaroslav Kaczynski. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. 2 Polish citizens found dead in Gaza. Oh, not good. Not good at all. I didn't even know Polish citizens were hostages. I didn't even know Polish citizens were hostages in Gaza. What is this from? What is this? How is everybody, by the way? How are you? Oh, okay. This is from. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my lord. Oh my gosh. Gotta drink some water. Agua, H2O stuff. Wow. The chat went dead silent. The chat is so quiet. Let me see. What is the last thing that I've played properly? Huh. Oh. Hmm. Storm threw a lot of my garden around today. I'm so a little sad. How was Ukraine? Ukraine was pretty okay. I've actually, when I returned to Poland, I immediately got a warning on my phone that there are storms and to find shelter from flooding, from, I don't know, from finding shelter from missiles to finding shelter from flood. What a world we're living in. But it's, Kiev was fairly safe. Kiev is fairly safe. Although, one night when there was this siren in the middle of the night, about 3 a.m., I guess there was notice that the next day that there was a fire in Kiev caused by damage, but it was so far away that I didn't hear any of it. Kiev is a pretty big place, believe it or not. Kiev is a pretty big city. And then I also went, because I am going to have that talk with non-smokers sooner or later. So I went to the Holodomor Museum and I took materials from an international conference about the Holodomor. It's from the year 2022. Huh? Pretty cool, huh? And I also got a booklet. Also got this booklet about the Holodomor. Oh. Well, damn. Oh. This is the English version. We were killed because we are Ukrainians. We're killed because it's a very, thin thing from the museum. I got a Ukrainian version and I also got an English version because I knew I'd be presenting this to an audience. Genocide begins with the killing of one man, not for what he has done, but because of who he is. See? We were killed because we are Ukrainians. Dear reader, this brochure in your hands provides the general and most important information on the history of the genocide committed by the Bolshevik occupational regime against the Ukrainian nation in 1932-1933. This brochure is about the Holodomor's history. The team of the National Museum Holodomor Victims Memorial prepared an exhibition, We Were Killed Because We Are Ukrainians, dedicated to the 85th anniversary of the Holodomor. The exhibition is based on archival documents, evidence of Holodomor witnesses, investigations of scientists proving the crime of genocide against Ukrainians, and the responsibility of the Soviet authorities for the murder of millions of children, women, and men. The materials of the exhibition formed the basis of this brochure, which explains the causes and preconditions for the Holodomor genocide. The intention to destroy the Ukrainian nation, the process of committing a crime and its consequences. The brochure draws attention to the necessity to know, to remember, to spread the truth about one of the greatest crimes of the 20th century. In an effort to answer the most common questions about the history of the Holodomor and its law qualifications, we appealed to the criminal case number 475 on the fact of committing the crime of genocide of 1932-1933 in Ukraine. Following the mission of the museum related with a public warning about the crime of genocide, we urge everyone to prevent all cases of hatred and human rights violations. Do not stay aloof. We urge you to remember that human life is the highest value. Our respect for each other, tolerance, and a sense of moral responsibility in front of the violations of the norms of law and freedoms as a major contribution to the preservation and strengthening of democracy in the world. Every fourth Saturday of November, Ukrainians hold the sorrowful events and light the candles in order to honor the memory of Holodomor genocide victims. This day is a time of unity around national memory, human compassion, and the common necessity to live in a democratic world where crimes like the Holodomor will not be repeated anywhere and with anybody. What do you think? Ukrainians, who we are. This segment. See, I just read this bit. Dear reader, just read this to you. Occupation of Ukraine. It's like the Bolshevik destruction of the Ukrainian People's Republic. The power of propaganda. Moscow prepares genocide. Preemptive strike. Holodomor, the crime of genocide. Organizers of the Holodomor: Joseph Stalin, Vyacheslav Molotov, Lazar Kaganovich, Pavlo Postyshev. Hello, Aris. Hello, hello. My hair is wild. Well, you know. I am a bit wild, so it's okay. It's okay to be wild because I am a bit wild. You know? Who else? Stanisław Kosior, Vlas Chubar, Mendel Kataevich. The committing of genocide. Killed by the Holodomor. 30% of the people in Ukraine died of starvation. That is more than 8 to 10 million people. During the World War I in 1914-1918, over the 4 years, 10 million people died. Hunger in Ukraine has taken millions of human lives. In the countryside, from reliable sources, it is known that according to official estimates, 7 million victims do not make a great losses, but this means that the fourth part of the peasantry was destroyed, which even compared with the victims of the World War is a terrible number. Hi, apparently all of Eastern Europe has a big trauma not coped with yet. We have still big discussion here in Eastern Germany. How is it in Poland with the historical work on Soviet occupation? Poland still has a lot of sort of post-Soviet bloc mentality to tackle with, especially when it comes to like office workers. We usually call them cement heads. No, we call them batten heads. But I guess it's like a type of cement. Cement heads. Because their heads are stiff like cement and they're, fixed in their like Polish People's Republic time era way of thinking. Yeah, concrete heads. True. True. Concrete heads. We call them that. Those people that are fixed in their old ways. You know? There's actually a lot of Polish works when it comes to the Polish People's Republic and how Poland was not a sovereign country and how the Soviet Union basically puppeteered it. Especially, I can talk about it quite a lot since my parents were in the anti-government um, the anti-government opposition. And also, today is actually some round anniversary. Let me see. It's been like 35 years after Poland's first democratic vote in 1989, was it? My parents are still defending Putin, born 1940 and 1947. Their life was the GDR. Solidarność, yeah. The Solidarity Movement. KOR, you know, and other organizations that were part of sort of the broader movement. KOR is the Komitet Obrony Robotników, which means like the Committee of Defending the Workers. KOR was a pretty big organization. And there were all those different publications within the opposition, published works, magazines, books, etc., etc. Robotnik, I believe, was one of them. You know? And my parents ran a illegal printing press at the apartment where they lived. And then father got arrested during the what's it called in English? Gosh darn. I keep forgetting that term. Because there's like this war period. What's the term? Let me see. Stan wojenny, English. Martial law. There you go. Martial law in Poland in 1981. Father got arrested and, you know, he spent a year in jail during the martial law period. And then, long story short, cut to the 80s, 1989, and the government of the Polish People's Republic agreed to sit down like in this round table and speak with the opposition and decided to do this free election, but the communist government was guaranteed some amount of seats or something. Was he's back from the war? No. I'm back from Kiev, which was fairly safe. My problem is that I have to be a pacifist by Russian behavior, but Russian behavior makes me furious. I still want to talk to Russian. Why do you want to talk to Russians? Wait, you're from Germany? Sorry. I'm gonna be honest, I do not want to talk with Russians. There's no point with talking with Russia. Russia has to be beaten, not talked to. That is my stance. That is my warmongering stance, okay? Became a full-fledged warmonger. Why do you need to be a pacifist? You know that pacifism for the sake of pacifism is misguided. Listen, I'm a pacifist too, which is why I want peace. The road to my pacifism is paved with the defeat of Russia on the battlefield. Well, we cannot escalate the war any further. Oh yeah, we can. Sure we can. We just did. We just did by letting Ukraine hit targets within Russia. Okay? Sure we can escalate we can escalate it till Russia loses. This is the amount of escalation that I accept. Also, I'm gonna ask you a few questions and I'm gonna go grab a drink. I'm gonna ask you, are you new to this stream? That's the first question. Second question, how did you find this stream? How do you like this stream? What other streamers do you watch? Those are the 4 questions, I think 4 questions that I'm asking you. That's fat. Those are the 4 questions that I've got for you. And as you are answering the questions, I will link to you the page that I have, my page on White Forest. And I'm gonna go and, sort of, kind of, well, right? Right. Okay, you answer and I'm gonna be back with a drink. Oh my gosh, I haven't answered even a single question. Are you intimidated by me asking you questions? Don't be intimidated. Don't be scared. Just answer. It's okay. It's okay to answer my questions. It's even, I don't know, recommended. It is highly recommended that you answer your questions. Okay? I'm back. I'm back with things. Wait a minute. So, hold on. Oh my gosh. So yes, as you can see, went to the Holodomor. There's no pacifism here. The only pacifism I accept is the pacifism for victory. Any other pacifism is just debunked. Wrong. Done. The sounds of me eating those grapes can be treated as ASMR. Basically ASMR. Oh! That's true. I did want to entertain myself with something. Okay. Since basically no one's here yet, I'm gonna entertain myself. I'm gonna do the entertainment. Hold on. Hold on. Just a minute. What? Got a video.
Was considered the first.
His origin, the Joker to your Batman. He's like the,
Pause. Pause it. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for the origin of Logos to confront President Sunday. Where does this start? Okay.
From chat whenever, but if they're on here, then
I don't know.
oh my god. My
If
neck
he
is
has some
killing me.
actual evidence, like actual proof that he's actually doing stuff like that, that would be
well, I
interesting.
don't even know about that because I think he's already said that
This is
he
all the proof I need.
has a bachelor's, and
That doesn't matter. Just having a
right, well,
bachelor's
and
does not
that's-
make you a political scientist.
that's what
I
I'm
don't even think he's a real bachelor. I think he's been secretly married this whole time.
saying. But I
Oh,
guess
man.
I
What
suppose
humor.
okay. To be clear,
Classic.
this is I'm giving my personal opinion. If somebody did work, if they did real work as a political scientist, and I don't mean like on stream, but like they actually held a position as a political
I had a paper published.
scientist somewhere, then I
Had
would.
a paper published. It's probably the paper that you do for the end of, like, university. The end of university work or something. I bet. I bet my shoes. That's the thing. I bet my shoes that's the case.
In an undergraduate philosophy thing outside of department.
I would say that, yeah, that,
still.
that would be good enough, regardless of whether or not they had a higher degree.
Nah, that's actually not how it would work.
President,
It was
Some-
on Aristotle.
They
IDO.
President Sunday calling. him.
so you do have a bachelor's in political science, right?
I do. It doesn't really matter though. Lies.
In poli sci.
Did you work in poli sci? I've never been employed as a political scientist. No.
What is this?
Okay. So then,
Very
what
qu-
is it?
God, am I this? Why am I so quiet all the time on Discord? Good God.
Is your
That
settings
you think
suck?
makes the difference here?
Well, the difference would be that I do political science as an activity. So it's sort of like someone who does philosophy as an activity. Now, if you want to be employed as a teacher of philosophy, there's probably going to be some credentialed requirements to do so. But to simply say that I engage in political science as an activity, there's no credential requirement for that. Political science has long existed. Any of the credential requirements in order to teach as one. If I wanted to work for the government,
Waiting for the origins of Logos to fry President Sunday. Fry him on the stake. Get him.
like say I wanted to apply to a post at a high school or a university or something and call myself a political scientist, I'd have to have an MA or something like that for it. But I'm not citing political scientist as a credential. I'm citing political scientist as a thing that I do.
Yeah, as
Right.
an experience. I understand that, but it does
So
say
what you will
like, even
never
if
what
I
you will
What an
never
look it
see
up-
me
face
say
version
is
of Logos
what you will
is.
never hear me say is I know what I'm talking about because I'm a political scientist. I say
Right.
what is Tom's background? Tom's background is a nightmare. Why? Why would you ever do this? Like what is this? This is the worst background I've ever seen. His normal background's fine. I don't know why he's using this. And some new art, thanks for the $5. Here's to another year of living in Origin's Head rent-free. I don't want to live in Origin's Head rent-free. This is the man who's going to find me and murder me.
Oh my god.
I'm a political scientist because I do
Uh,
political science content and I talk about that. So
Yeah, you're saying that you
I don't
wouldn't
know, that
claim
seems kinda
yourself as an
like,
authority, but you would
slippery to
claim it
me.
as an experience.
So-
Slippery.
I mean,
to me, to be honest with you, I think actually calling myself a political scientist probably sends up a red flag that I don't know what I'm talking about. Political science is a terrible field.
That's not wrong.
even if that is true, I'm not
Hey, that's not wrong, Tom. But I'm not gonna lie, you're not the one to laugh at that.
going to say if that's true or not because I'm not in that field, so I never researched into it. But that's a bit odd that you would label yourself as I'm a political scientist on literally everything you do. I mean, I have a bachelor's in English. I'm not going to go around saying I'm an English teacher, or I'm a professor, or I am an expert.
Do I put on everything I do?
Do I have the best background? Welcome back, Palm Dad. Do I have the best background? I do believe so. It's a nice background. Family, book collection background.
Hang on. I don't think that comes up on everything I do. So if I look at my videos here, like let's pull up this one. This is a short fat otaku video. So if I pop this up and look in the description. Doesn't say political science anywhere here. If I go to channel page, political scientist who talks about stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I'll probably change like critical theory and something because I think political science kind of. I'm trying to get away from the rad trad aesthetic a little bit because it's not really me. It was almost me when I started the channel, but that's not really how I roll these days. So
Expert in English.
I mean, that would be very embarrassing, to be honest with you. But
well, okay, because I'm not
what you're
going to lie
trying-
about.
It's not on your Twitter, I don't think. No, what do I have on my Twitter? I have Yeah, this is my Twitter. It's a hotspot of geometric boundaries.
A what?
I don't even know what that's from.
On
What
my
you're
credentials.
trying to get at is that there is some kind of parity between my calling myself a political scientist and Kyla calling herself a psychometrist, and then claiming that that is a degree that she doesn't have, like a master's degree or an equivalent, and so on and so forth, and then saying on the basis of that she's an expert and you should defer to her. I'm gonna have to flatly disagree with you. Me describing myself as a political scientist and not using that as a credential is an entirely different thing from claiming a credential that someone doesn't have in a health-related field and then claiming expertise on the basis of that.
I think you're playing a slippery slope right here, and it's not really even that clear cut.
Slope,
And I
Yeah.
don't even call Kyla an expert. I would never even address her like that.
Well,
but that was also a bit of a diversion. What?
Kyla calls Kyla an expert origin. Who cares what you think?
True.
Even if she does, I'm not
Here's-
going.
here's
I'm
what
going to
I-
have to base it on actual evidence that I
Here's
see,
what
and
I-
also what you said
what I-
before. Hold
here's what I
on one
want you to
second.
do.
Wait,
No,
hold on.
hang on. One
I want to
second.
finish what I'm saying because
Yeah,
you
but this is
interrupt
important.
every time. No, hold on. I'm going to finish what I'm saying. You always interrupt. But
Right,
anyway,
after
Don't
what you
interrupt.
said
President Sunday.
was that Kyla was over here.
Is this
True.
the second conversation you've had with Origin?
Yes.
Yeah, actually. This is only the second conversation I've had with Origin. That's actually kind of incredible.
Actually,
The
what?
first one Origin paid for. That's right. I remember. Good old days. Oh my god, that was so long ago now. Oh my god, that was actually so long ago now. I believe the first conversation that Origin of Language had with President Sunday was before the full-scale invasion in Ukraine. No, that's impossible. Can it be? No. No way. No way. But it might actually be true. Wow. Time flies.
What'd you say again? Because you're interrupting me. You actually like made me lose my train of thought. Repeat what you said.
Well, you can just keep on going with what you were saying. I
He
don't
said
think
that
you were
Kyla
wrong.
claims to be an expert. He does not claim to be an expert.
No, he also said. No, now I remember. He said that Kyla pretends that she had a degree of psychometrics, even though that was not the original case that you made against her. The original case you made against her was that she was saying psychometry, but then you went to this Wikipedia page of it being like
Oh, I forgot how boring
psychometry is
this
this
was.
woo-woo thing, and that was your original claim. So don't
No.
try to pivot.
You're-
That was
yeah,
that
you're
was your original
confused.
claim.
You're confused.
No,
The
I'm
reason-
not confused.
What was your first conversation about? He was wondering why
Got banned. Did he get banned?
Vosh didn't discuss Plato's Republic on stream or something. I'm not even joking. Like the discussion we had was just him talking about like I don't know why all of these streamers are just talking about meaningless drivel when there is art and literature to experience. So that's basically it. He's
True. So true.
horrifyingly, I'm pretty sure Origin is exactly what people like in DGG hear when I speak, which is hurts me on the inside.
Confused whatsoever.
But you're very confused. I can.
No, not really, Sunday.
Well, quite actually.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
so
a call-in stream. I was playing Elden Ring. Yeah. Reason why I pointed out that psychometry.
I think the banning happened a bit after a call-in stream. He paid. He donated some not a small amount of money to be able to call in and talk to President Sunday. I remember that.
Is not the technically correct word. It's because that means that she didn't get that term from the document of her degree because she doesn't have one. She doesn't have a document
sure
that
she
says
actually has-
psychometry on it.
Well, hold on.
Yeah,
Wait,
and
you
it's
did
fine,
say you
but you're
did show
also
in
not
the
a political
video that
scientist, so it doesn't
you
matter,
did show in
bitch.
the video that psychometry was a woo-woo thing in the video.
Psychometry is
yeah.
a woo-woo thing.
That was the
However,
You
first
pulled up the
video I made.
Wikipedia
yeah,
and showed
however,
it as a.
Kyla is correct because of how similar the words are. and because like grammatically it seems to work. You could say like psychometry in the same breath as saying psychometrics or something of that sort, because they sound more or less the same, and people do in fact use those words interchangeably. But what you will not find is a document, certainly not one in Canada, saying this is a master's in psychometry. First of all, because you actually can't get one in Canada, but secondly, because that wouldn't actually be the correct term. So the reason I would point that out is to sort of nudge a little bit, kind of highlight that, hey, when she's, calling herself these things, she's not doing so on the basis of an actual piece of paper that she has. She's being a little fast and loose. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think she admitted that
Based
at
on
least
what
the
you
degree
said-
part that she was playing fast and loose by.
Why does it even matter if Sunday is a real quote-unquote political scientist or not for him to be able to point out someone using false credentials? Because it would demonstrate hypocrisy. So if you want to get revenge on me, you can point out that I'm doing the same thing.
True.
Except I'm not, because political
You are.
scientist isn't a credential. I've always been upfront about my degrees, and I actually say it doesn't give me any authority at all. I've been very clear for years. I say political scientist to gesture at the kinds of content that I'm interested in, which is basically what I do. We'll cover drama stuff occasionally, but by and large, what sort of distinguishes this channel more than anything, besides me, of course, is that like I'll spend time talking about like weird, nerdy political science and political theory stuff. That's the whole bottom like
You're
Sunday
such
school
a nerd.
playlist. That's like the video essays that I started with on like regime comparison and like Carl Schmitt stuff. Like that's like generically political critiques of like international relations theory. And I think I did it at a fairly high level, probably about as high as you can get given like where I was at the time. That's why I say this, because it's like, okay, if you're gonna say what is my channel? What do I do? Well, I do political science essentially. I do regime analysis. I do comparative politics.
Criticism.
Not a lot of statistics,
international
although sometimes I wade
relations
into that. But I'm not like I don't say I'm like specifically good at that. Hey, President Sunday, just have been wondering how come you don't stream on Twitch in parallel with YouTube? Any reason? There's two answers to that. The first is the pretend one, which is I don't want to split my audience because it's a bad business decision to have people like in multiple places. But the second one is I don't know how. So
Wow.
we're gonna run with the first one because it makes me feel better about myself.
I don't know how.
Saying that she had the degree because she had like a
Well,
graduate
she flat out
equivalent.
said that she had. Can I ask why you did study poli-sci if you didn't end up working on it? There's very few openings in political science, bluntly, and when I went to school, I was poor, so like I could afford maybe like a fraction of the application. I had intentions to go to grad school in political science, but I just it was not in a good place,
But you just became a YouTuber instead.
so kind of failed.
An
But
influencer.
I didn't fail. Like my grades were good, but just there's a lot of competition. There's like at my university, for example, they accepted like 5 people,
Oh, God.
between 5 and 10 people. Did you want to be a professor? God, yeah. A
Professor
graduate degree,
Sunday.
which is wrong.
Hey,
Yeah,
Tom,
well,
can we actually
that's
get?
what I'm saying.
Can
is
we
that
actually?
with the degree part? I think she said that she agreed that it was fast and loose, but she said afterwards that like she had an equivalent to it, and so that's why she was playing fast and
Well,
loose.
that's
with it.
also incorrect. She doesn't have.
Tom, can we actually address the heart of the issue here? Because
Oh.
he's pivoting all the way to Kyla
Oh, no,
again.
I'm
Because
interested. What's the heart of the issue?
Well,
True.
if that's what we're making
Well-
an
No, hang on,
equivalent
Tom.
to,
Origin.
if that's the
Origin.
equivocation.
No, hang on, Origin. You got me here. What's the heart of the issue?
Yeah, you got him.
the heart of the issue was I came on to ask you about where you got your credentials to be known as a political scientist, and now that you came on to explain that, instead of actually kind of get
President Sunday, please change your channel profile to say you're a sandwich artist. That's a more respectable title. It is, but my sandwiches are kind of messy. I'm not gonna lie.
My
They're
sandwiches are
good.
perfect.
I have good taste. Just stacking those squares. It just baffles my brain.
White squares.
getting in more into arguments with us about that,
My
you want to
better
pivot
bread.
to Kyla. Who gives a fuck about Kyla right now? In your example that you said, like, oh, I'm just doing an activity. I'm a political science
Damn, Origin of Logos is so edgy.
because I'm
Yeah.
into theory. Bullshit, bitch. It-
Bullshit, bitch. Well, to be fair, he was equivocating the original talk too, lol.
If you don't have a
You're
master's,
so edgy, Origin of Logos. Bullshit, bitch. Bread is only square here. That is so weird. That is really only square? Bread comes in so many nice shapes here in Eastern Europe. Because that's right. You can get amazing bread in Ukraine as well. In fact, I bought some bread. And I made sandwiches with them.
in this, and you actually have some research, and you haven't actually done any field work in
Bullshit, bitch. Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
this. You're not a political scientist.
Hey, Origin,
You
you
can
haven't done field work. You haven't journeyed into the fields of poly.
play fast and loose all you
Yeah,
want,
no,
but you're full of
Origin.
shit.
Yeah, or that probably is the wrong connotation. Origin, you're a fan of Plato and Aristotle, right?
Yes, I am. I read them.
Yes, I am. I read them, in fact. Why, yes. I do partake of the Platon. Yet you do. You're very smart. Who began political science?
It could
That
be
would be the philosopher.
Who began political science, Origin of Logos?
Polysankritos.
it was Plato, arguably.
Okay. Did
It was
he
Aristotle, actually, Episteme Politikon, but whatever.
have
Oh.
a master's in political science?
He doesn't even know that.
True, you don't even know that.
No, but this is again.
But
a
he
You
was-
don't even know that, Origin of Logos. It was Aristotle.
He had a political
diversion.
scientist, yes? What
But this is
about,
the diversion, dude. This
how
is
about- how about-
you're thinking
no,
about
no,
this in
it's
a
not a diversion.
no. Yes,
I'll
it
give you
is. Let
something
me
more modern.
explain.
The argument that political scientist is merely an activity and not an academic occupation one must earn through the modern process of doing actual analysis and I said that President Sanders is not making an argument that political scientist is merely an activity. He said that he is talking about political science and hence calls himself a political scientist, I guess, quote unquote. But he also said that he would not be able to get a job as a political scientist proper. So what he is saying is that he's not leveraging that as a credential of any sort. You see? You understand? Do you understand?
How it's
No, no,
actually a
Brett,
diversion.
Walk with me a little bit. I'll give you.
Fine,
I'll give you a more
you-
modern case. Carl Schmitt. Did he have a master's in political science?
I'm
This
actually not
was
sure.
dumb of me, because I would have known this, because I've talked about this before. American political science is a late 19th, a late 20th, early 21st century thing. No. Late 19th, early 20th century thing. Jesus Christ. In Germany, there wouldn't have been political science. First of all, I don't think they had masters or that division at all, but they wouldn't have had political science as a specific field. It would have been. He was a jurist. It would have been like
Jurist?
law. It would have been politics or political economy. I have no idea.
Sure on that case. I
I'll
haven't
look that up,
researched
actually. I'm
much
curious
into
now.
him, so I
So because you made this mistake, Origin of Logos, you should go to my page and donate money to me. Here you go. Now's your chance. Made several mistakes. Or you didn't even know that Aristotle started political science.
can't say.
I'm actually not sure off the top of my head. I'm going to double check. Let me see here.
Ooh, Jinx research.
If I go into his education, academic career, Da-da-da-da-da. Here we go.
He looks so tired. Do I look tired? I'm not tired yet.
I actually don't think they did those in Germany at the time. It was something else. Yeah, they wouldn't have done it in Germany at the time because it's American political science is a 20th century thing.
Ah, good job.
May I
Trust
ask
me,
you a
we figured it out.
question? May I ask you a question then?
Go for it. Yeah.
Go for it, original.
Okay,
Bloggers.
so you wanted to ask me if Plato is considered a political scientist, even though if you and I should both know this at least. I hope we both
He's
know
not
this.
really, but
That back
go ahead.
then they didn't have the concept of political scientists in the way of we have degrees here in the 21st century in
Sure.
Western civilization.
Right.
And
Whoa.
then
notion
we
of-
have
Minus points for using the term Western civilization. That's a red flag for me. Using the term Western civilization, whatever that means.
to have
Notion of
modern
epistemic
standards.
Politikon. Well, the notion of epistemic politikon is very old.
Yet more evidence that reading a lot of theory doesn't cure you of being an idiot. If you're talking about me, that's true. But if you're talking about Origin, he has not read a lot of theory. He just likes to act like he's read a lot of theory.
We actually get the term from the Greek to translate.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the etymology of where it comes from. I'm talking about the modern usage on how we actually set up, how we become experts in a field, or how we earn degrees to be considered
Canada-
something.
Yeah, the Canadian government's regulations on who can teach political science are not definitive for who is considered a political scientist in the West. So I don't know where you're getting that notion from.
Well, I'm getting this because you brought up the example of that Plato was considered the first
Is Origin the Joker to your Batman? He's like it's like the Professor Pig.
political
Well, what, the
scientist, so
what?
therefore
The
he was a
professor
political
what?
scientist. So now you're trying to conflate this, that you don't actually have
No,
to have
what
a
I'm
degree.
pointing out. Well, no,
So
what
you'll
I'm
have
pointing.
to, let
what
me
I'm
finish
pointing
this
out-
before you let me finish this.
Debate.
So you were trying to make a deflection. You were trying to make an ambiguity here that, well, because
Trying to
Plato
make an
was a
ambiguity,
political
yeah.
scientist and they didn't have degrees back then just doing
True.
the activity of doing into political theory, it makes you a political scientist, and that's
no, what I'm-
bullshit.
What I'm. Well, it's not actually. What I'm pointing out
Origin is Cartoon Penguin? No, that's Stardust.
is that political
What?
scientist as a designated.
Oh, I can be a
law
political
creates.
scientist?
Beg your
Who's
pardon?
Stardust?
So I can call myself a political scientist in a few days or in a few weeks or months. If
I mean, you
just
could
start-
call yourself one right now. I just don't think it'd be a very good one.
Oh, so your standard for a political scientist is pretty much nothing. Okay, that's
Yeah,
that's
so you'll look
interesting
here.
someday.
Tom's actually got it on the screen here. So professional philosophers and ethicists typically have graduate degrees in philosophy or this related field, but you would not, for example, consider someone to be a fraud if they call themselves a philosopher and didn't have a graduate degree. There are, in fact, many people who write for philosophical journals that don't have
In
graduate.
fact, I consider a lot of people with graduate degrees who call themselves philosophers to be sort of frauds. We've got a special word
I'm
for
a
them, actually. It's called
philosopher.
sophists.
Graduate degrees in philosophy.
I'm a philosopher.
You say that one more time. I didn't hear the last part you said.
Many
I said
times
there
when
are
I was a child, like people kept telling me, "Stop philosophizing."
People in all sorts of fields, for example, who will write in the fields of philosophy or even political science or so on and so forth, and they don't have graduate degrees in those fields, yet they are considered such.
And you're saying philosophy, right?
Well, it's just one example. When
Well,
you're dealing with the
you have
liberal
to be
arts, like the
specific.
compartmentalization of the liberal arts is relatively recent. These things all used to be combined. Political science used to be combined with philosophy, political economy, et cetera, et cetera.
I understand this. I understand this, but we're
Right.
talking about.
I
a long
understand
time
this
ago.
reference.
I'm trying to keep us
Not
in
that long ago,
today.
actually. We're talking about
No,
the last
Sunday.
century.
We're talking about now. I'm not talking about a few centuries ago
Well,
or one
right
century
now,
ago.
right now, there's also not a problem with calling yourself a political scientist. Now, if I said I was a credentialed political scientist, you'd have an issue. If I was using political scientist as a credential and I was saying on the basis of being a
There you
political
go.
scientist, you have to listen to me.
Are you listening?
That would be the case, but I've never
Original
done
bloggers?
so. I challenge you to find a single case where I've done so.
I don't even think I need to make that case. I think the fact that you're just calling yourself a political scientist without even having the basic credentials to actually be considered that is a bit
You don't
sneaky.
require credentials to be a political scientist. You can
Again,
never go
you
to
do
university
now.
to be a political
You
scientist.
do now. Again, they're actually. My gosh,
No,
it's like
you
I'm
have
talking
to-
to someone who's not even listening or who's just
No.
trying to make
No, in order
everything
to
so
be employed,
ambiguous
in order to be
for
employed
his
by the
case.
government, in order to be employed by the Canadian government as a political scientist, you have to have a master's or a doctoral degree.
And again, you don't have either. So
No, but I'm not. I don't
call
claim to be
yourself one.
employed as a. I don't claim to be employed as a political scientist.
But you call yourself a political scientist, dude. Just own it, dude. Just admit that you shouldn't be calling yourself that. Just call yourself like to actually this could be
Oh.
better for you, and this is actually
Did the connection die? Damn it. Give it a sec. It's just as well. My neck's killing me anyways.
President Snyder is acting so old. My neck's killing me. My back's killing me. My everything's killing me.
We back?
No.
Great. Fiber internet. Actually, good news. The new place we're going to has fiber. Our internet is getting so much better.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
it's going to be great.
Oh wow.
The new house has fiber. The new place has fiber, guys. This is going to be such an upgrade on every level.
me trying to help you out here a little bit better, even though
Mhm.
I don't
That's
know why
fiber,
I'm doing this.
I think.
Instead of calling yourself a political scientist, why don't you just call yourself
Oh,
I'm
here
a
it is.
thinker.
Yeah.
I'm someone who likes to delve into political issues. I take this stuff seriously. You don't have to just call yourself a political scientist, because that may actually confuse some people who don't know any. This guy actually has the
Prez, you will know a Hararian anthropologist?
I'm a
I don't know. Isn't he like a journalist
Scientist.
or something? I don't know what he is. Let's see. I mean, what he's doing is kind of like low-level anthropology.
who?
I just don't think he's very good at it.
Who?
Everything I've seen of him has been like incredibly vapid and shallow, but I think he would be technically an anthropologist.
Who?
Let's see, what does he do? Like, Homo sapiens and, not sorry, no, but, Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind, and, what's the other one? Homo Deus, that's what I'm thinking of. Like, those are books of anthropology, they're just not very good.
Homo sapien sapien.
expertise. He probably has gone to. He may have went to get a graduate degree, and he probably knows his shit. So it seems a little disingenuous that you would call yourself that, but now you're trying to get all nuanced now, but it doesn't make any difference. Like we know what it is. We have to be a political scientist, and I actually have a political scientist friend who would actually probably challenge you on this.
So do I.
I've got a political scientist friend. I'm not even gonna go for that easy joke.
I've had political science professors on my channel, as a matter of fact.
Sure, then we can probably talk with them as well about this.
Well, they'd probably be annoyed that I'm calling myself a political scientist because they're senior to me by several decades, and that's always
Why
laughable.
would they be annoyed?
But
Why would they be annoyed,
there's
though?
no ethical issue whatsoever with calling myself a political
My
scientist.
gosh.
But why would they be annoyed with that? If there's no ethical
Why would
issue,
they
why
be
would they be
annoyed?
annoyed?
Well, because it's sort of like
A waste of time.
it's sort of like if you've been studying philosophy for like 50 years, and you've got a person just out of their undergrad, maybe 5 years out, and they're calling themselves a philosopher. It's a little bit funny, right?
Then why do it?
You're gonna laugh at them because they're like, oh, yeah.
Then
sure.
why do it?
What do you mean why do it?
Okay, you just gave a different example. You just said that, let's say, like there's
Because
a
I do
philosopher-
Oh, I found
content
the knot.
concerned with political science.
Oh, it's
That's
so
the thing
good.
that I.
That's fine. And
That's how I
look,
got
that
my
is
start.
That's totally
So the
fine.
activity I
President Sunday is acting strange on stream, moaning.
engage in is political science. So I call myself.
When was the
a
last time you actually
political
did a
scientist. That's what I
political scientist essay?
Stop moaning on stream.
By the way,
It's been a little bit,
It's been 10
like a
years.
year, I think.
why so long?
Here.
Oh, because I've been reading a lot of stuff.
Are you sure
Oh,
it's
fuck, it's
because of
flooding.
that?
Oh, I'm very sure
Yes.
it's because of that. It's kind of wrecked my whole flow because a lot of the stuff I sort of
Don't do that.
presumed as
Don't
the
fucking do
bedrock
that.
of what I do, sort of like the intellectual foundation of what I do, has been kind of undermined by the stuff I've been reading. So I'm upgrading a lot.
Are you sure you haven't just been spending your time obsessing over Brianna Wu and other bullshit drama that means literally nothing in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've been doing quite a bit more than that, actually. This is one of the reasons why I'm talking about the books that I am reading constantly on stream. Is one of the reasons why I do readings of political science and philosophy and theory texts on stream fairly on the regular. This is why I'm getting through like hundreds of pages.
That is legitimately a really LARPy way of putting that. And in my defense, I think it was like 1 a.m. when we had this conversation.
Wow.
Bergson and
President
Bataille and
Larper.
So yeah, no, I do quite a
Oh,
bit.
If that's the- if
You'll
that's-
notice my streams are
How am
actually
I
fairly on
making
the short side. I
myself
spend most of my
yawn?
time reading otherwise.
Well, if that is the case, why not just focus on that? Why not ignore the drama bullshit? Because it seems like, because I remember back when I used to be in your community, you said that you had a lot of health issues and you had.
Yeah, when Origin was back in our community, we had to actually like put a foot down at one point because he would constantly be uploading photos of his bald head.
Oh my god, I
He would shave his
remember.
head and then he just just
I
spam photos of his scalp
I
in
remember
the
that.
server. It was very weird.
It was very interesting.
It was very
It
weird.
was very interesting.
Like, here, let's see. Let's see if I can find one.
Oh wow. We're gonna hunt for the scalp. Wowzers, trousers. Now that's the content that people crave. Origin of Logos head. He did that in Lucy's server too. Oh my gosh. That's true. Oh my gosh. Why would you do that? Why? Don't do that. Don't do that. What takes... Oh, come on, President Sunday. Does it take so long to find Origin of Logos head? Have you purged it from your server?
Man, all of a sudden, everything's gone. The one time I want to see Origin's bald head. Ugh.
What?
Can't believe I said that. Really? They're all gone? I mean, that's a good thing. It's a very positive development.
Is it, though?
Very indeed.
Is it, though? Is it, though? Why did you
Oh,
go
yeah,
silent?
okay. So, like,
Aha,
he would
found
just
it.
constantly put pictures like this and just everywhere. It was just endless selfies.
What a
And he'd
weird
shave off
face.
his head. And then he'd have another picture of his head in like up close, just like that, constantly. It was like,
Why?
stop. Please stop.
Why would you do
This
that?
is general chat. Nobody wants to see your face. I think we actually made
Yeah, there was a
a
rule.
selfie section briefly just to give him a place to put them because it was like it's too much.
So
Weird. Weird, man.
Had sleeping issues. I don't know. This is just me guessing. Okay, maybe I'm totally wrong, but maybe
Sunday I sent you a DM on Discord. Oh, I think I saw that before I saw your chat actually. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
you can help me out on this. I'm guessing that maybe you focusing on this drama bullshit and obsessing over people's lives is probably taking a toll on your mental health.
I'm not obsessing over people's lives.
President Niedziela. True. President Niedziela. That's right. That is so... You're so right. That is so true. So welcome, Toaster Cleaner. Listen, I've been to a faraway place in the country that's right next to Poland. So I think, and I've not been streaming for 11 days. So I think I deserve you to go in the page and give me some love, okay? I think I deserve it. Actually, this is the perfect content for me to turn this on. Actually, this is the perfect caliber of content for me to turn on the begging Lucy for money. Especially since I need funds. I need funds to sponsor my next trip to Ukraine. If you want to sponsor my next adventure thing, then Steven Seagal eating carrots.
Lives. No, it's taking a toll on my mental health as I'm staying up till like 3 a.m. trying to read paragraphs that my eyes are tired to look at.
That's true.
So
By
that-
the way, I just finished Bergson's Matter and Memory, and I'm moving on to Creative Evolution.
You
And
read so fast.
we're actually going to go through. I'm going to do a theory segment this week on the introduction to it, because it'll give me an opportunity to kind of explain some stuff from Time and Free Will and Matter and Memory. But the introduction to this is fire.
No,
It's
he's not.
So good.
He's
Oh
not
my
read
God.
it. I was like, wow.
I'm
That's
obsessed
what's
over these
Read the
people.
whole
I
book.
cover them for
And all the red lines for the blue
a
stuff.
couple hours on.
I still
What's
have no
that?
idea what he's talking about here.
And all the red string from the blue stuff.
Reds- the red
You weren't
strings
here
and blue stuff.
earlier. Never mind.
It's red
What?
string,
I forgot
huh?
you left and
What the
came
heck are
back.
you talking about, Tom?
We were talking about what earlier. He asked if I was offered Woo Bucks, and when I said yes, he just disappeared from chat. And then I asked him a
Oh,
question,
okay,
he wasn't
okay.
there, and so then I was like, "Oh, he heard that I got offered Woo Bucks, and he disappeared. He's probably typing furiously." And people said, "Yeah, he's
No, you
got
said
red
you
string
said
all
you
over
said
the
you
place."
didn't want to take them. I was just curious if it was actually on offer for you. I have no idea who was offered that. It doesn't really matter, and it would have been PV bucks anyways. It wouldn't have been from Woo. I don't obsess over these people at all. Origin, you're mistaken. I cover them like anybody else does. Like Tom's covering a conversation between me and Counterpoints here. Is he obsessed with me? No, I'm pretty sure it's just that's how his channel runs. He
Oh, really?
things.
You mean to tell me that if I were to look at all of Tom's content, I would see him talk about Brianna Wu every 5 minutes,
Yes.
every
He's actually got
other
quite a
day?
few
I don't know.
streams
constantly.
covering me.
Say it again.
I am
He's got quite a
obsessed
few
with you,
streams
though.
covering me.
From who?
How was Origin?
From who? What do you mean from who?
He's saying
The
I
Selfie that was Origin of Logos.
cover him. President Sunday is
The
saying
favorite
I have a
creator.
lot of streams covering him.
Origin
He's
of
videos
Logos.
covering me all over.
Oh, when was that, Tom? I actually haven't been watching you much lately.
I think this is the first time in a couple months that I've covered
Origin,
him.
how many?
A couple of months. There you go. But
Origin,
how long
how
have you been watching Wu for the past year and a half, actually?
Are you saying I've been watching Woo for the past year?
That's when Wu
Yes,
came back.
Sunday. I'm talking to
Yeah,
you.
because
How much have you been
I
covering
couldn't
Wu?
tell. How much I've been here and there.
I've not been
fairly
watching.
frequently. She's been
Yeah, no.
good
No.
good source of content for a little bit.
What do you mean by
It's
that?
a
Good
source
source
of
of
She's a
content.
deeply unlike.
it's all about the money, Origin. It was never about the theory. It was all about the moolah.
Likable person who's
It's a lie.
easy to poke holes in, and it's good content. And I don't
Mm.
like
You thought this was all for pleasure. You thought this was a leisurely activity. You thought we were all just walking around with our togas by the what are they called? By the
What are
what are
they
those trees
called?
called in the mountain? The peely ones. Sorry, I wasn't snapping at you. I'm trying to think. What are those trees called? The peely ones that are on the mountain? Arbutus, thank you. We're not walking around the arbutus trees in our togas. It's my job. I do this for money.
so it makes it extra easy.
Fascinating.
Santa isn't real.
Oh no, that's
Why focus on people you don't like?
There is no Queen of England.
Like who are not even like why
that's
her
just
though?
mean. That just means
I'm not even a real sundae. I'm just a melted milkshake that somebody tried to dress up with some sprinkles into cherry.
Why her? Why I
Yes.
well, because sometimes she makes herself available. So, for example, the conversation with
Available.
Counterpoints and Queeman was a shit show.
I need a conversation. I need
I
more
mean-
conversations.
I
with
mean, it's
people.
going to be a shit show regardless. You have Queenman with anybody and Brianna Wu. And Brianna Wu's not really good with
No, I think it
addressing
was
people.
what made
By the way, I've updated the Discord link.
this one particularly funny was that she was muting him after he would speak for a few seconds and was just unable to respond to anything.
Well, that's fine. I actually, if I were her, like I've said that when people do debates or panels, and if people can't help but interrupt every 5 seconds, if I was a moderator, I would mute everybody every time they did that because I think that shit is annoying. Let
Yeah,
people
but I mean,
actually
there's
finish
a
a
reason.
thought.
There's
Can you imagine debates hosted by this guy? Oh, someone briefly talks over somebody else. Everybody, shh. We are thinkers here.
reason why you don't do this, Origin. Like it takes a certain personality to be able to kind of stomach this kind of thing and do it well, and it's not for everybody. It's
Well,
stressful.
I don't do it because it's not my career and it's not something I'm
I
going to
would
make.
like to see that. We are thinkers here.
my career. I'm just saying if I did do it, that's what I would do.
I don't know. I see you in a lot of drama channels just constantly popping off everywhere. I think you're actually pretty invested.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, I've told many times that I'm invested in the case that every time I see you pop up making more bullshit allegations and constantly attacking people for no
He's
reason and
obsessed.
trying to ruin reputations over bullshit evidence.
What bullshit allegations I've been making lately, Origin?
We already know, Sunday. We don't need to go over this, buddy.
Well,
Buddy.
I am just curious
Like-
though. Can you
like
participate?
no, like the fact that you are acting like, huh? What is this? Like, what do you mean? Like, you're curious. Like, dude,
That's
we're
a
not stupid.
What do you mean is a bullshit allegation? What are you referring to specifically, Origin?
Tom, is he this stupid?
It's a simple question, Origin. Do you know? Can you name one?
Say it again. Name one what?
Can you name one allegation?
You went over one earlier, buddy. Like, did you forget it?
Buddy.
Yes.
Like the
Help me
best.
recollect.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Buddy.
Okay. Anyways, in answer to your
Exactly,
question,
Sunday.
Origin, if you'll look on Tom's screen right now, that's kind of helpful. You'll notice that first word. Can you read that for me?
I'm not reading his screen because
Can I
the
read it
other
for you?
thing.
Well, I'll read it for
Sure.
you,
I
yeah.
mean, if you
All right.
can, but you're going to be wasting your breath because it's not relevant to what we were talking about.
How do
It
you
is
know?
relevant, so just listen for 1 sec. It's very short. Often, political scientists need a master's degree in political science, public administration, or a related field. Hear that?
Yeah, I did. And again, it's
Did you hear that?
totally
Did you hear that first word?
yes. Often
What does that mean? What does that mean?
it means most of the time.
What does most of the time mean?
Dipshit. I know what you and I both know what
Dipshit.
that means. You don't need
We
to
do,
keep
but
asking me
spell
to
it out
go over
for
that.
me.
Deep dipshit.
Means not all the time.
Dipshit.
Oh, linguist coming in.
It's not all the time. Thank you. Now, if by the way I wanted to work for the Canadian government as a political scientist, it would basically be all the time unless I got some kind of special permission for it, which I have no idea if that's physically possible. But
Still, you shouldn't call yourself a political scientist.
True.
I'm going to continue to because I'm not worthy of a higher title yet.
That's true.
No, you shouldn't call yourself that because it's just not true.
I actually prefer political theorist most of the time because I have a deep issue with political science. I think political science is a deeply fraught field.
Political theorist is more cringe.
I think it's kind of a dead end field, as a matter of fact.
You could just call yourself
God, I regret saying that. Political theorist is so cringe.
a thinker. I mean, that right there is actually pretty neutral and it seems pretty fine. I mean, everybody
Yeah,
thinks.
but I
Thinker.
don't think very much. That's how you do political science.
Well, I mean, thanks for, I guess, enlightening us for the truth there.
Oh, you're welcome.
I became awkward.
Origin, you have an issue with me being obsessed with people, quite a lot of people, in fact. You had a list earlier. One wonders how I have the time, but I do notice you are constantly talking about me. To the point where it's a
And
little
I've already
weird.
explained this. I already
And
explained
you're
this.
you're spending money on it as well. You're losing money literally just to go to tiny, I think we have 74 concurrents at the moment, tiny streams just to
Oh, come on! I've got 7 people here. Every time President Sunday craps on people, calling them tiny and bad for having only 70 people watching, I look at my concurrent viewers, 7, and I weep. And I cry. Okay? I weep and cry and all that other stuff.
to rage about me, and I do have to wonder, why am I so important in your life?
What are you president of exactly? Your heart.
Well, first of
Aw.
all, it's a few bucks for one streamer, so I mean that's not like $1 million or
Well, you
so. I
spent
can
about
understand.
$140. You spent about $120-$140 tonight. No,
Jesus.
No.
no. Did you
What?
not give? Did you not give Mattis $100?
Oh, he didn't actually
Not
give her
what?
$100. I was joking about that. Sorry.
Oh, you
that
were
was a
joking?
joke.
I hate that so much. Tom actually won this. 'Cause he shattered my dreams.
Oh, that's too bad. I was all excited.
Well, I would never.
Why not give me money? I'm the tiniest of streamers. I have 5 concurrent viewers.
Do that because you asked me to do it. So there's that issue. So and second issue,
Yeah, you're too smart.
I've explained many times why I feel the need to call you out whenever I see your name pop up in any space, because you're a dangerous
Call you
force in
out.
these spaces.
Jesus.
You're a dishonest liar.
Did
You
Origin drop any money? He definitely dropped at least $20 just to talk about me. It's like I'd be flattered if I wasn't expecting him to murder me.
will go after people's reputations, and you seem to have no ethical principles whatsoever. You will go after them for the pettiest of reasons. And we all know this. Like, it's not like I need to come in here and actually explain everything of what you've done. Like, we see your videos. We watch them. We've seen everything you've done, and you'll
We see
continue
what
to
you
do it.
do.
So you coming in here is pretty much a waste of your time ultimately, because not
Well,
just a
sounds like
waste
it's
of my
more a waste
time.
of. Sounds like it's more a waste of your time. See, I make money doing this. This helps me. I don't know what you're
Exactly, and there you go. That's
But-
also why
but
this is ultimately a scam, because you make money doing this, which is ultimately you call yourself a political scientist, even though you're trying to get an air of
Who's in his chat? The cheap Walmart Peterson and Pearson Walmart Pearson
superiority over people, but
Oh
ultimately
God, no! No,
you're
if
just
anybody calls
making
themselves
money.
a political scientist, like you should beware.
you can
They
keep
have-
falling. You can keep falling on that little like, oh, I'm not
In this
really. No,
chat,
you can
yeah.
stop falling on that
didn't even donate. Was in this chat and even don't donate. Didn't even join the page to donate.
because you're not fooling anybody.
Oh, I've been doing that long in
Because you
advance of this
always-
conversation. Don't worry. But
you always
what I was-
pretend you're better than everybody, and
And he
now
pays drama channels to embarrass himself.
you're just like, oh, well, actually, it's not really that big. It's like we see your behavior, dipshit. We don't
No,
need
well,
to fucking
there's
hear
two,
you.
there's two responses to that right off the bat. The first one is I'm not pretending, but the second one is political scientist is once again just a description of an activity I started my channel doing. I don't use it as a credential. In fact, I say very frequently and have very frequently in the past. Yeah, this is not me saying I'm an expert. This is actually kind of saying the opposite. This is just an activity that I do as part of my research and as part of my like content.
Well, I will guarantee you this. I'm not as obsessed with you as you think I am, because if I was, I would probably scour every single video
He is pretty obsessed. I will say that. As a neutral observer, I will say that he is pretty obsessed. Yes.
you've ever made and every single stream you've ever done to look for those. So I'm not doing that whatsoever. So
That'd be very weird. But I can't help but notice though, Origin, that you changed your wording a little bit. See, you just mentioned that I go after people's reputations, but earlier in the chat you were saying I go after people's personal lives. Can you elaborate?
you already. How much longer do you want to continue this conversation, by the way?
Oh, I've
Just
got all
curious.
But I am curious.
Well,
I am
I
curious.
don't,
So you
so-
you did say I go after people's personal lives, and I would like to know what you were referring to.
I mean,
Whose
Tom, is he
personal life have
really?
I gone into?
Is he really this stupid, Tom?
What
Is
people-
he really this stupid Thomas the Tank Engine?
you
Really
answer
this
the question?
retarded?
I don't know why
Oh,
you're asking.
God.
me. Yeah, I
Can you
don't-
answer? Can you?
Origin of Logos throwing those slurs. The thinker Origin of Logos. When did Origin of Logos become so edgy teen? Damn. Origin is so edgy.
You answer the question, Origin. Are you capable of answering the question?
You might be.
I'm capable, yeah, but it's just funny that you're asking me that question as if you have no idea. Like what as if you
But I
are
mean,
just
I'm
completely
not
innocent.
actually. I'm not convinced that you have any idea. Can you
True.
convince me?
What a
The fact that you think you're very convincing in this is really not working, dude.
Who's name one person whose personal life I've gone into? This should be easy. Name one.
Tom, I mean, not Tom, Sunday, I'm not playing your game, dude. We all know we already know these answers.
Tom, do you know
Asking
the
you
answer?
to.
What? This is such a weird
What?
conversation.
See, Tom doesn't seem to know the answer. Origin. Whose personal life have I dug into? Simple question. You made an accusation. You should be able to substantiate this much.
Silence.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get a little caught up on personal life because I think a lot of people would
Silence
talk
of the
say
lambs.
that like going and emailing
Oh, I
Kyla's
invite Origin to use
professors
whatever definition
or
of personal life
college
he likes.
or pulling up a
I
Facebook
invite
that has
I invite
Why is
Origin
Tom
to use-
personal
talking here?
Yeah,
information.
Tom, I get it,
or-
I get it. But I invite Origin to use whatever definition of personal life he wants. Whose personal life have I dug into, Origin?
Uh-oh.
You're awfully quiet.
Yeah.
Still with us?
Sunday. Are you like dumb? I already answered your question. I said I'm not going
so
into
dumb.
this with
Origin,
you.
Origin.
I'm
We've
not
already
going
established. I call
into
myself a
this.
political scientist. I'm so stupid. Please help me. Whose personal life have I dug into?
That is funny.
I mean, you did say we wanted to hold his feet to the fire. I'm here for it. We do we
Well,
would
I
have
just hold
to.
his feet
My
to the
feet
fire.
are cold. I'm chilly here, Origin. Let's turn the heat up.
Hold on, Sunday. Tom, I said I wanted to ask him about his
It's called the
political
origin
science
of
degree,
logos.
and that was it.
Logos is speech, Origin. You're supposed to talk. You're like the terminus of logos. Is that what that would be?
What the hell is going on?
Okay,
And
Uh-oh.
one? And anything at all? One name. Make one up.
What up?
You said there were lots, right? There's Wu, there's Kyla, there's Destiny, there's who's left? You mentioned Jenny Matrix for some reason. That's a weird one. Who am I obsessing over? Whose personal lives have I dug into? Or do you want to take that back?
I'm not taking anything back, but I already answered your question. I'm not playing the game with you.
But well, not really though. I would like
I'm
to
not
hear.
taking it back, but I'm not gonna substantiate anything. I'm not playing your game. El Presidente Sunday. I'm not playing your game, Sunday.
Hear one name. Whose personal life have I dug into, Origin?
Oh my gosh. It is such a wild conversation. I am enjoying myself, I guess. I need some mindless entertainment. I've done a lot of pretty mentally taxing work today, okay? I'll have you know. I've done a lot of intellectual work today. And I'll be doing it again after the stream.
Origin, Tom's in distress. Whose personal life was I digging into? whose personal life was I digging into, Origin? Come on. Distributist? Academic agent?
Lucy Hazan. Then Sunday has dug into my
Come on, you got
personal
to
life.
have one. People are watching. There's like 73 people here watching Origin. Come on, you got to have one.
Lucy Hazan. It's Lucy. It's always been Lucy.
Chud Logic. Did I dig into Chud Logic's personal life?
Yes.
I texted him a very angry message when he was on vacation with his children, Origin. Did you know that?
Jesus Christ.
Brianna Wu? Did I dig into Brianna Wu's personal life?
I mean,
Here's what I want you
I'm
to do.
interested.
Okay?
I would.
I
like
want
to
you
know.
to. Here's Origin. Here's what I want you to do. Okay, just on a completely different key. I want you to go get an estimate for how much we need to fundraise to get you the therapy that you need because this is getting unwell. Okay, and we'll get you fixed. You have a good night, guys.
All right. No, I do want to say
That
that
was-
was wrong of me.
That
Okay.
was so weird.
It's not good to use therapy as an own on
Oh, true,
people,
Tom.
guys. You should go get therapy. Don't let him stigmatize people who go to therapy.
Don't let the phony political scientician stigmatize therapy for you, okay?
It doesn't make you crazy or anything bad.
I mean, I answered him. I'm not playing that game with him where he's just like, "Well, whose life was I going after? Name one." It's like we already know the answer. Like, I don't know why he plays this stupid little game. Well, I understand why he does it. He wants easy views, and he thinks that this
the
is
game of actually asking a person to substantiate their claims.
all life is. Ultimately, it's just like, let's make Origin look stupid, or let's make anybody look stupid. It's like, I'm not answering not because I don't have an
You're
answer.
doing a perfect job on your own without any help.
because I'm not playing this stupid ass game he's doing. It's just like, it's obvious. What a fucking idiot.
Fair enough.
And I said I just wanted to, I wanted him to answer that question about the political scientist thing. I didn't say I want to come in here to roast everything about him. So that's a bit of a misspoke on your part, Tom.
I mean, I think we should have roasted everything about him. I'm here for it.
I mean, we already did. He pretty much just weaseled out on the political scientist thing. I mean, that's utter horseshit. I don't care what he says about, well, anyone can call themselves a political scientist. I'm like, if that is, like, if he's actually selling that on people right now, then I don't know how anyone can buy into his bullshit. Like, anybody. Like this is just absurd. Oh, I can call myself a political scientist. It's like, no, I can't, because I don't actually have the credentials or the history of actually doing that. He's just
This
a
is just
fucking lying
rambling.
sack of shit who does this because this is how he makes people think he's more intelligent than he is.
Well, I think we killed it then. Well done.
What the hell?
Yeah, I don't play those stupid little games that he does because it's pointless.
It sounded like sarcasm on
Fair enough.
Tom's.
Anything else?
Well, anyway, you have a
Tom
good night, Tom.
feels
Yeah, I just
so
wanted to roast him on that
disappointed.
political science thing, and as we all witnessed, he
Fair
pretty much
enough.
just made
Yeah.
up bullshit
Mm.
reasons. Like, oh my god, he can't say anyone's lying about credentials at this point, because if that's what he's really falling on, is that anyone can call themselves a philosopher, he would not buy that for a fucking second. If I on my channel, or if you on your channel, or if anybody else on their channel said that I'm a political scientist, but they didn't say that therefore I'm an expert, they just called themselves that, he would be on down their throat within a second, and you can bet that.
All right. Fair enough.
What is that music? That is so weird. Well,
Wow.
the attempt on my life has left me scarred and deformed.
Oh my
But I
gosh.
assure you, my
Palpatine.
resolve has never been stronger. By the way, Origin, you should come on and chat sometime and not be a weirdo about it. I'm not that unpleasant when you're not a douche nozzle. Now let's be unpleasant to a douche nozzle.
Who? Who?
See, Tom is a much more credentialed man than I am. Tom is a genius, an inventor, an entrepreneur, a nuclear physicist, an adventurer,
Oh no, tomfoolery.
lover of women, and I
Oh,
hear of
no.
men. Let's continue.
Last night, Tom decided to rehash the argument that he never claimed to be an authority in linguistics.
What the hell is this?
While doing research, I found some never-before-seen lies that throws cold water on his claim, and some bonus memes. Let's dive in.
It's me describing why I made a gender doc in the first place was that I worked in
Oh
linguistics.
yeah, he had like a 30-40 page gender doc that he claimed was used in schools.
Was not
Me and
very good.
Kid Not Kin and Ico Rules went over. It was bad.
Was not very
It
good.
was bad. It was so bad.
Marketing.
Just trying to this is why gender is sex, which is like
Gave me an interest in linguist.
gender is sex. The term wouldn't come of English departments. Why? Well, because we don't say that certain terms or things are sexed, right? But they are gendered.
Sexting.
Because when I say there she blows, I am not saying that Moby Dick has a vagina. Moby Dick has a dick. It's in the name.
In linguistics, and then gender happened to be the thing that was talked about here a lot that I
When
ended
did you
up
go over the gender doc? That was like a year ago.
just doing years of studying on and reading on and all sorts of shit but yeah, me describing to somebody that I worked in linguistic marketing.
No, are we dropping the connection? Give it a sec. We'll wait till it smooths out, okay? Give it a moment. We'll wait till it comes back. Small f, tiny f. Mild.
Excuse
We
me.
shall weather this storm, friends. We back? Looks like we're back. All right, let's press on.
Marketing again is not me claiming authority over anything. breaking down rhetoric. And I worked in what the title of the position was called linguistic marketing. Okay, my entire job was rhetoric. Okay, studying rhetoric, breaking down rhetoric, and I was a rhetoric coach on stream for a long time as well.
Is that when I think of you saying that you're a rhetorics coach?
Just to be clear, I haven't said that in a long time. Like I felt like that was bad branding for me, so I stopped saying
I'd
that.
say it's very bad branding for you.
Okay, that's enough. I'm already done. So, we're gonna, hold on. I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna talk about a few Polish topics and then we're gonna finish. Boom. Okay, so I'm so ready for this. I'm so ready to talk to you all about the Polish things. Got a Polish thing lined up. There was a person talking about how asking me about the Soviet sphere, about Poland. And in 1989, the government sat down with the opposition, the Solidarity movement, and they decided to peacefully do like a election. Remember, my parents took part in organizing those elections 35 years ago. Gosh darn. That was so long ago. And so, today was a very special event related to that whole thing. Because there is like the European Parliament election coming. So Poland sort of, now that the government is less right-wing and less crazy, let's just put it that way, it's really hammering in that it shows the West, that it shows democracy, that it shows freedom, that it shows to be out of the USSR sphere. It's especially like, I guess the sort of thing gains traction now that Russia is actually trying to regain its sphere of influence, that there are countries that are on their way to sort of get into the European Union and NATO as well. There are countries that are sort of moving towards getting into that sphere. Like, I would remind you that Ukraine and Poland, after the fall of the Soviet Union, basically economically were on an equal footing, Poland and Ukraine. And then Poland joined the EU and the difference became bigger because, because as it turns out, joining the European Union is like a pretty good deal for countries that do it. Okay, let's dig into the article. Tusk rallies supporters to vote in the European Parliament election 35 years after Poland's first democratic vote. I'm going to be going to this vote. I'm going to go to vote on the 9th. The voting is going to be happening on the 9th. So I'm going to be going. I'm going to be voting. I'm going to be doing some voting. All right? That's exactly what I'm going to be doing. Some voting. Alrighty. Thousands of supporters of Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk's Civic Coalition Alliance gathered in the capital Warsaw on Tuesday ahead of European elections that the head of government says are crucial for Poland's security as it faces increased tensions on its eastern border, which is a whole other topic that I'd like to talk about. I'd like to talk about the crisis on the eastern border, how certain things are used to outright create an anti-immigration and anti-refugee rhetoric, how it serves as a tool of dehumanization. That is unfortunately a topic that we will have to tackle pretty soon, I believe. The rally took place on the 35th anniversary of Poland's first partially democratic election after World War II, which brought an end to communist rule in the country and paved the way for its transition to a democratic state, which is something that my parents actively took part in. Nothing is given forever. We cannot fall asleep. We cannot take a break, Tusk said, addressing the crowds gathered in the Castle Square near Warsaw's Old Town. My mom went to this event, by the way. I opted to stay at home because I had some work to do, but my mom went and she took some souvenirs for me, which I'm gonna showcase on the next stream. Tusk recalled how Poles had gone to vote on June 4th, 1989 to expel communism and the Russian lack of order and chaos from their homeland. He also spoke about last year's march in Warsaw, saying that it showed that Poland was a true democracy, offering true solidarity, tradition, and faith in one's own strength. Today we must show it again, Tusk said, and called on Poles to vote in the forthcoming European elections. This day, June 9th, these elections will be as important as the ones held on June 4th, 1989, the Prime Minister said. Please believe me that a political victory in Brussels would be more important for the Kremlin than the capture of Kharkiv, Tusk continued, adding that there was a war going on now for power in Europe. A strong and united Poland and Europe are the only way to avoid the tragedy of war on our territory, the Prime Minister said. With war raging in Ukraine and a migrant crisis on the Belarus border, Tusk has framed the June 9th vote in Poland as a choice between two different paths for Poland, which I don't think I have to explain what those paths are. The paths of exile. Pretty sure I don't have to launch a lengthy explanation, right? I think we're okay on the explanation front. High stakes. On the one hand, he presents a promise of a safe future in a country at the heart of the European Union under the leadership of the current ruling coalition made up of Tusk's center-right liberal civic coalition, bloc supported by its centrist and left-wing allies. On the other hand, there is the right to center-right conservative Law and Justice. Even though Law and Justice policies throughout its 8 years in power, and especially following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, have been hawkishly anti-Russian, the party's tendency to frequently butt heads with Brussels is seen by many as dangerous in times when Europe needs to unite against the threat posed by the Kremlin. We're all focused every day on making Poland strong, making Europe strong, Poles being united and Europe being united, because this is the only way to avoid the drama of war here on our lands, Tusk told the crowd in Warsaw's Castle Square. The history of 1989 means the expulsion of the Soviet socio-political system from our homeland, Tusk told the rally at Warsaw's Zamkowy Square on Tuesday, adding that we are here today to prevent this order from returning. Can Tusk consolidate his power base? Tusk's Civic Coalition grouping is the largest in the pro-European alliance that took power in December. Analysts say that if KO wins the most seats assigned to Poland in the European Parliament, the result would boost Tusk's hopes of establishing the coalition as the single dominant force in Polish politics. Law and Justice remained, however, the single party with the largest number of seats in Poland's parliament after the 2023 general election, extending a roughly decade-long run of first-place finishes. Law and Justice says Tusk, a former European Council president, is subservient to Brussels in general and neighboring Germany in particular, because Law and Justice leader Jarosław Kaczynski, at every single opportunity, reminds everybody that Germany is basically an empire, wants to capture Poland and make it its slave state or something. Furthermore, accusing him of hypocrisy for criticizing Law and Justice, tough policies towards migrants on the Belarus border, while in opposition before implementing similar measures in government. I mean, I will criticize that for sure. And that is a thing that we might be doing a little bit of a longer thing tomorrow. We'll see. I do want to talk about that, yes. The media also have picked up on this little bit of inconsistency. Let's just call it that. Propaganda rallies, vindictiveness, blunt manipulation as the only fuel. It's Tusk's June 4th, said Law and Justice legislator Jacek Sasin in a post on social media platform X about the Warsaw rally. European Union citizens will vote June 6th to 9th to choose the 720 members of the next European Parliament who will serve for 5 years. Poles will elect 53 Polish MEPs on June 9th, which I'm also going to be doing. I'm also going to be voting, since it is my sworn duty. It's my sworn duty to vote. It's like a Polish news thing. That description is not that important for now. Polls suggest the main pro-European Union groups around the political center will win a smaller majority than they currently hold. So there you go. Basically, the gist of it is, it's the 35th anniversary of Poland having its sort of kind of free election in 1989 with the peaceful transition of power. We now call it the Bloodless Revolution. Interestingly enough, the government of the People's Polish Republic considered using force against Solidarity, but sort of weighed their options and decided that maybe using force would not be the optimal way to solve the situation, and therefore they sat down and had a conversation, which led to the elections, which led to Solidarity taking the helm, and then the rest is history. And then Lech Wałęsa, the electrician, became president. And then that's a story for another day. When he said to his candidate after his, I don't know, when he told his electoral opponent that he'll not shake his hand, he can give him his foot. This just was, so many memes were produced back then out of the wild statements that Lech Wałęsa made during like a presidential debate. That was something. I'll tell you that. That was something else. A full song was made out of a quote from Lech Wałęsa from that presidential debate. A full-blown song was made. Parody song, of course. And then it caught on and became popular for a bit. Now it's never played anymore. So I guess you could say that that particular song was a product of its time. Fascinating. Fascinating developments. An electrician with a foot fetish, presidential perfection. It wasn't about a foot fetish. I was trying to insult him. Like, I'm not gonna shake your hand. I'm not gonna give you my hand. I can give you my foot to shake. It was supposed to be an insult. It's like a, classic Wałęsa insult. Classic. I guess we're gonna go through one more and then I'm gonna finish for today. Because I am actually tired. And 2, I have a job to finish. So, if you're liking what you're seeing from me so far, then I don't know. Consider donating to me from the page. Especially since I need funds to go back to the land of the Kraina. I need to go back. And for that, I need fat stacks of money. Okay? In order to do that, I need fat stacks of cash. Can be both, but you wouldn't have done. But you would have done the same in the debate against RGR. I'm not so sure. Like Wałęsa is a serious politician. He was president, He got to be the president of this country that I'm in right now. Apologies. I am tired. The land of unfairly competitive corn. True. True and real. Corn pipes for smoking weed or something. Which is illegal in Poland, so I would never do it. But I don't think it's illegal to own a corn pipe. So it's the land of the unfairly competitive corn pipes. Okay, so Once again, I'm going to touch upon the topic of Ukraine asking the West to actually do something useful and to defend the Ukrainian skies, namely for countries that border Ukraine, to defend Ukrainian skies with its anti-air systems. Ukrainian ambassador calls on West to defend Ukrainian skies. This has been a topic that's been going on for a while. This has been a topic that I've been sort of also hinting at. I've been talking about it. I think I even made a segment about it before. It started with me saying Polish people, interestingly enough, on X, discussing it, asking themselves, why wouldn't we just shoot down missiles above Ukrainian cities? Like, we could be saving lives. We could be doing something good. And then there was an idea floated by some German politicians about NATO countries that border Ukraine possibly being able to shoot down missiles incoming to Ukrainian cities. That if it's within anti-air systems of NATO countries bordering Ukraine, then why shouldn't they use those anti-air systems to shoot down Russian drones and missiles? And then the argument is that it's not really escalation because if no Russian soldier is killed, then there's no problem. And plus, indiscriminate bombing of cities is illegal to begin with, so you could frame it not as much as... You could frame it not really as an escalation, but rather than preventing a crime from being committed. The crime being the indiscriminate bombing of cities. Now here we are. The Ukrainian ambassador to Germany has appealed to NATO to help defend airspace over western regions of Ukraine, so that would be Lviv and other surrounding areas. And that would have the benefit of Ukraine being able to move all of its anti-air systems from western Ukraine to eastern Ukraine and central Ukraine. So it would be actually a huge benefit if the countries next to Ukraine would use its anti-air, because then Ukraine could dedicate its systems that are placed in Western Europe to different places. Alexei Makeyev warned that every kilometer Russia advances brings them a kilometer closer to the EU. Writing in the German weekly Die Zeit, the ambassador urged Western countries to help intercept incoming missiles and drones. Protecting the airspace over Western Ukraine from outside the country's borders is technically possible and legally permissible, he wrote. Citing Israel as a precedent, Makeyev recalled how several countries successfully repelled an Iranian air attack in April. The UN Charter says that an attacked country can defend itself, and third countries can help the attacked country without becoming a target themselves, he added. The idea, he said, was not new. It was one of the most important discussions in the first weeks after the Russian invasion, he said. At the time, it was considered impossible, but over time, it's become clear that the unrealizable is turning into the realizable. Continuing, he said that some German politicians had already voiced support for such a move. The idea of defending Ukrainian airspace from neighboring countries is already being discussed at many levels, he said. There's also a cross-party group of brave and far-sighted politicians in the Bundestag that support this. And of course, there's the whole thing where the Ukrainian government has asked the Polish government, if it would be possible for the Polish government to strike down the missiles on and drones on Ukrainian territory, and the Polish government has given up an official response. The Polish government has said that it has to think about all the legal factors, such as who would take responsibility if the debris would destroy property or hurt people. That's one consideration that Poland says that it has to take into account. What was the other one? There was one other big consideration that Poland said that it needed to sort of look into before making a decision on striking down Russian missiles and drones. And that consideration was, let me think, because the first one was definitely the legal aspect of who would take responsibility. I don't remember. I'm afraid I don't remember. I guess that's a big consideration, the legal thing. Although I've also heard from someone when I've sort of told them about this whole consideration that Ukraine has already signaled to Poland that it would take full responsibility for any damage done by debris that came from missiles shot down by Polish anti-air. So Poland claims this to be an issue, while I've heard Ukraine has already firmly cleared this up by saying that like it is actually no problem for Poland to do this, because Ukraine will take full legal responsibility. I guess there was also the consideration of range of the anti-air and how much of the Ukrainian airspace would be defended. Pretty sure that was like a consideration as well. Yeah, that sounds like BS, because the debris damage or even a full-on AA missile impact is still less damage than cruise missiles. And that's not the point. It's not about damage. It's about the question that Poland asked would be, if we shoot down a Russian missile above Ukrainian airspace, and right. So it is pretty flimsy, since Ukraine has already sort of said that no, it's going to be fine, we'll take full responsibility. So I guess all I have to say is that Poland should just shoot down the missiles and drones and anything that comes Ukraine's way. As a Polish citizen, that is what I vote for. Okay? How many hours have we been streaming? 2 hours. I guess that's enough. Unless you wanna, I don't know, give me a donation to continue. But I don't think I'm gonna get one, so I'm gonna prepare to finish up for today. we've done, I guess, 2-ish segments that I can salvage into something. I'm gonna do a stream tomorrow. For today, I have a bit of work to finish. So I wanna sort of buckle up, finish, like sort of focus on that, and then I'm gonna do something else, I guess. And then I'm gonna edit stuff. So that's basically it. That's basically it. Right? So I guess I'll see you tomorrow. See you, everyone. All 7 of you who have decided to appear after my triumphant return from Ukraine. I still have some people to contact. Okay, I guess I'll see you. Bye, 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 bye.